Shoes.
Shoes.
What do you think about shoes?
I mean, listen, they're great, dude.
Do you like shoes?
I do. Shoes are good.
As much as chews?
Dude, shoes, forget about it.
You think I'd take a couple chews, go buy some shoes?
Sounds like an incredible day, man.
I mean, I think I'll see the shoes better
If
I've had some shoes.
Welcome back to Oops the Podcast.
All right, lots to unpack here.
I got something for you.
Please. Julio, I don't know where you came up with that idea.
Dude, this guy was a huge turkey.
What is this, Japan? Which is
Yeah.
one of the reasons why I hadn't told you about it.
No, and I also just assumed you were saving it for the pod if you were going to tell me,
Yeah.
which of course you were.
Oh,
But-
yeah. Hello, it's Oops the Podcast. I'm Francis, on the eve of my wedding, joined by my man of honor,
Yeah, baby.
Julio Galaratz.
No pun intended.
Galaratsky.
Galaratsky, I have begun compiling things that I shall say. I want to talk more about that. But right before we started this conversation, we were talking about comedy stuff.
Yeah, Julio
we
loves
don't-
comedy.
We don't do that much. And I have noticed that we do get positive feedback when we do. So I think this would be a nice thing to include this discussion in our episode.
Well, Julio and I were at the Stand last night, our fave club,
Oh, yeah.
and
Rocking and rolling,
just
moving
chilling.
and grooving.
Let me tell you something. Julio has mastered the art of the chill.
Have I?
Yeah. Yeah, you have.
I was smoking cigs, dude.
I wasn't going to say it.
I was being a bad boy.
You were ripping bogues. You were on the bogue train.
I smoked a couple heaters.
And I said to myself, boy, oh boy, there's a man at leisure. There's a man in his element. He had this seat. He said, let's all go sit outside. And initially, it was just Julio and his buddy. And then I brought us out some Cocker Spaniels.
That was very nice of you. He was holding 3 of them. It appeared that I told him this too last night, that he was holding a little bowl. Like as if he had gone to the kitchen and done a little Oliver Twist. Please, may I have some more?
Brought out a little tapenade.
But when I got closer, when he got a little closer, it appeared that he had 3 Negronskis.
I brought 3 Negronskis. I didn't know if your buddy, and I won't say his name out of respect for him, but
You can say it, Zach.
okay, so I didn't know if he drank or not. So I brought him one, and I figured if he didn't, then we could have it.
Mhm.
And then I didn't watch, but I was like, yeah. He was like, yeah, I don't really drink, and I was like, oh, no problem, we'll figure it out. And then I didn't watch, but while I was sort of looking the other way, you drank his
So I tried to do him a
as
solid.
though it was water.
I tried to do him a solid because I didn't want him to feel obligated to drink the drink.
Yeah.
And so I figured that I would drink mine and then switch them so that it would appear that he had drank his.
Yeah.
You very quickly sounded the alarm.
Well, no,
on
but
that
I
one.
missed the switch.
You missed the switch.
So I
that
thought
was the intention.
This guy, yeah, you succeeded. I thought this guy who said I don't really drink had sucked down a Negroni the way that I used to drink Capri Suns at soccer camp.
And now you're like, oh God, have I like sent this guy into a relapse or something? Like,
Yeah.
is there a reason he
I
doesn't
used
drink?
to drink those Capri Suns. I would gouge the hole with that shitty straw and then widen the hole and then just put my mouth to the hole and squeeze it like it was an astronaut space goo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah,
Yeah,
and suck it dry. So the bag was shriveled on itself.
That's funny.
Well,
I was worried because I thought that you might think, oh, there was this neutral Negroni, and Julio just claimed it, which could be seen as rude given that you had purchased the round.
I only wanted one
Okay.
because I had a couple sets, so I
Couple
couldn't,
sets.
and I was driving.
Got
home.
a
I
lot
didn't
of
wanna-
shit going on. Didn't want to booze too hard. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Well, whatever. That worked out.
Um,
So then I was like, all right, I tried to do Zach a solid, and then, I was sort of thinking about that a bit.
Yeah, he did the old solid of disappearing Negroni trick, help a friend out, suck it down. So I looked up, but all of a sudden it was gone. And then they told me what had happened, and I said, okay, great. That's what we like to hear. And then, out came the Bogues.
Out came the Bogues. Well, let's talk more about me mastering the hang. What else do you think?
Okay. You took the seat. You said, let's go sit outside. And it was nice and air conditioned inside. But you said, let's go sit outside. That's That's a nice area to watch people. Anyone coming into the club, passing by, will see us. We'll be able to flag them down, sort of select and invite people over and all of that. Not select, but invite anyone over to come join us. And then you chose the seat that was facing the street so that you were the master of the domain.
That was not my intention.
You were the godfather sitting at the table with your back to the corner of the restaurant, seeing out at the whole restaurant. So in case a gunman came in to put out the hit on you, you could flip the table up to create a shield.
I did not mean to take the Don Corleone seat.
Wait till his clip was spent and then throw the empty Negroni glass at his head. Yeah, and then what transpired as the evening wore on was that your table was the one that grew and grew and grew.
Oh yeah, that did actually happen.
And it was because you had set the terms.
Yeah, that's fun. That's a fun idea.
You had created the magnetism. Everyone knew without knowing that table was the table.
That was a good time. My table was a good time.
Yeah. And I think part of it too was you were just there to have fun. You were just there for a good time, not a long time. And you didn't have spots. So you weren't getting up and down. So everyone knew that this was the guy to talk to.
But nobody knows that though. They don't know what my night looks like spot wise.
I thought you had kind of established that
to you,
on.
but I like when everybody else came over, like I don't know that they all were aware of my evening.
Got it.
Of shows.
Maybe,
but true,
maybe
I didn't have anything.
Yeah, maybe that's not true. But it was the establishment table. It was the table that was getting food brought to it, cocktails. This was not a pit stop table.
This was a good table.
Yeah, this was a settled table. We had lots of people come over. We joined blah 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 in and out. It was great. And I mean, each time I came back, there would be a different crew. There'd be more people.
That was
there
fun.
Were layers.
I had fun with that.
Yeah.
It was very Italian of me, sort of sitting outside. You know, I might as well have been standing there with my arms behind my back, holding one wrist. It's like the very old Italian guy move. Socks with slippers, just looking.
Yeah.
You know, little
Can I
underbite.
tell you something? I didn't like sitting outside.
Did you not?
No, there were mosquitoes.
So this is the thing. I did an executive decision outside. I posed it as a question initially. I was like, should we sit outside? And you said, sure. If you had been like, I kind of want to sit inside, I would be like, all right.
I'm never going to contradict The Godfather.
Bro, I didn't suggest it because I necessarily felt strongly about it. And if I had felt strongly about it, I would have presented it in such a way.
I hear you.
So I apologize for that.
No, it was a lovely evening. And it was nice to sit outside, but it was definitely warmer than it was inside.
Mm-hmm.
And the mosquitoes, I could see them.
I was smoking cigs, so the mosquitoes didn't.
The old
didn't
big
fuck with
G
me.
move. Smoking cigars in the dugout to keep the bugs away.
Citronella sticks.
Yeah.
Dude, so I felt a little bad this morning. I felt like I was giving our pal Dylan Palladino a little bit of a hard time.
Why do you say that?
I don't know. I feel
You
like
mean last night?
Yeah, I feel like our dynamic, me and Dylan Palladino, I feel like sometimes like when we're done hanging out, I'm like, why are you being hard on Dylan Palladino?
If you don't know Dylan, he's another comedian.
He's a good dude.
Wonderful guy.
He's a great guy. He was telling me a really fun story about his travel plans, which I was super psyched about. I love talking about that shit. And we were kind of helping plan. And then I just started giving him a hard time.
But probably in a playful way, I'm sure.
Absolutely. I was not mean-spirited at all.
But he's a lovable teddy bear. And I think he can take that. And I think, it's fun to poke him a little bit.
Okay, good.
Because he laughs it off and is so sweet.
Okay, that's not I don't like that. That's a slippery slope. You know what I mean? I always try to check myself if I'm busting somebody's balls too hard because, it can eventually get into the mean territory. And I would never want to do that, especially to somebody who I consider a friend and who is nice. But I wasn't saying anything too bad. I was like giving him a hard time. I was telling him he seems like he's an anxious person.
Oh, I think that's one would hardly call that bullying.
Okay. And then he was like, no, I'm not. And I was like, dude, yes, you are.
Oh, you, okay.
I was like, dude, you just see, I'm sorry. Like, okay, that's good to hear because you come off to me as a little anxious and I don't like that for you. I want you, cause you're this strapping, strong,
He's definitely an anxious person.
He's a little anxious. I mean, and that's what a lot of comedians are anxious.
How dare he say he's not anxious? What is that? That's a total lack of self-awareness.
Dude. But I love Dylan, man.
Yeah, of course.
We had a good time. Good little squad in the mix.
There was another thing that happened that was worth noting because it's something that happens a lot. So somehow we got onto the subject of typhoid. We were talking about all the I got the yellow fever vaccine finally and talked about that. Yep. Secured it.
Golf clap.
Safe-ish. Knock on wood. So we were talking about all the vaccinations and we were talking about typhoid, and this other comedian, Chris, who was sitting with us, goes, "Do you know the story of Typhoid Mary?" And I said, "No." And he goes, "You don't know that story?" And I was like, "Nope." And he goes, "How do you not know that?"
I don't know that
and
story.
I go,
either.
don't do that. Just tell me the story. The way that I said I didn't know was me giving consent for you to inform me. You don't need to confirm twice that I don't know the information.
God, that's funny.
And people do that. They're like, "Really? You don't know that?" It's like, no, don't say it. I didn't lie. And also, you asking me again isn't going to jog my memory. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you and I were talking,
Yeah.
and I said, "Julio, do you know the story of I don't know, fucking
Marvelous Michael?
Neville Chamberlain?" And you said, "No." And I said, "Really? You don't know the story of Neville Chamberlain?" It's like, fucking tell the story.
Yeah.
Just go ahead.
Yeah, there's something about it too that comes off as, I don't know what it is, but
It's condescending.
yes, it is.
100%.
It is. It's condescending.
It's like, how do you not know that? Well, I don't know. I've learned other things.
Yeah.
Instead of learning about Neville Chamberlain, I learned about recipes to make cobblers, or maybe I was focusing on Harriet Tubman's story.
Yeah. There are many stories.
There were 2 books in the bookstore. I chose the other one.
Yes.
I did not. I
Typhoid
picked
Mary.
up the biography of Neville Chamberlain and I put it down, and I chose the biography of the Wright brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know about the Wright brothers? No. Why don't you know about the Wright brothers?
How don't you know about the Wright brothers?
How do you not know about that? And by the way, there is a fine way to do this. If I said, "Do you know the story of Neville Chamberlain?" and you said no, and I said, I think he was a general. I don't know much about
No,
Neville
what you
Chamberlain.
could do is,
General,
dude,
like
it's a good story.
naval guy, British Navy, Battle of Waterloo, I think it was. I think this is totally wrong. I've got my guys mixed up, but maybe it was Neville Chamberlain. I think he was Civil War general in the Union Army.
I thought he was like a British prime minister.
You might be right about that.
Am I right? Thank you, Ryan.
Okay, yeah. Then I was right. It is more like Battle of Waterloo, Napoleon-ish.
I think it's more contemporary than
I'm
that.
fucked. I'm totally.
I think he was like in the early 20th century.
There
right?
is a Chamberlain
World
from,
War One-ish time.
There's a Chamberlain from the.
Okay, so pre.
Nice.
Yeah, World War One or World War Two. I mean,
I think there's a Chamberlain from the Civil War as well. Joshua Chamberlain.
you've never heard
Former
of
governor
Joshua
of Maine.
Chamberlain?
I think he was the president of Bowdoin College actually at one point, and I believe he has a sword at Bowdoin College where he was on the top of the hill in Gettysburg, and someone shot him, and it had his sword like this. It was a really thin scabbard, one of those sort of like ceremonial
Decorational
ones,
swords. Yeah.
and it hit the blade of the sword
Oh, wow.
in front of his heart and protected him from dying. He was that close. It was like the sword was here, and the sword's like that thick, and the bullet hit the sword. Pretty sure that's
I can't believe you guys haven't heard that story.
Yeah. That's the story I wanted to tell. Exactly. Well done. So anyway,
that's
I don't
funny.
like when people do that. And I was very glad that I checked that quickly.
I completely missed this, by the way.
Because this has happened many times in my life, and I've never figured out, oh, that bothers me until last night. He's like, "You don't know the story of Typhoid Mary?" I said, "No, don't do that. Just tell me the story. Go ahead." And then we all laughed, and it was nice. We were hanging out with a great comedian from LA, Brittany Schmidt. Excuse me.
She was cool.
Schmidt.
She was cool. I don't know her last
Yeah,
name.
she was there and doing comedy. It was nice. Good hang.
Good hang.
Good hang. But we were saying, I said to you before the podcast started
yeah.
that I went up on stage and I've got a couple of new jokes that I'm really enjoying building, crafting.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell them right off the bat because I don't have the patience to place them in the middle of
Mhm.
my act like I'm supposed to. So I do
I don't
them.
think you're supposed to do anything.
Well, I was once told that the formula for working on new material as a comedian when you do your shows is you start out with your best material, you couch your works in progress in the middle of your set so that if they don't go well, you can then recover in the last 20 to 30% of your set with more tried and true material.
I mean, bro, break down the boundaries, bro,
Yeah.
of what's possible.
I get too excited.
Now,
I
dude,
want
I
to
don't-
tell the new stuff right up front.
That what you just said makes sense, but there is no rule. If you get psyched telling your new shit, why? Who's to say you can't just do it?
Because what I'm about to say will kind of confirm that I should do it a different way. Because what I told you before the pod started was that I tell these jokes right up front. So the first 5 minutes of my set, I'm excited, I'm eager, it's new, it's adventurous, I'm adding new things on stage. And then there's this very precipitous drop
Into like
off into
autopilot.
old material where all of a sudden it's as though you can see the audience seems to know.
Yeah.
And the wind gets sort of sucked out of the room, my shoulders slump, and then I just start reading the book on tape of my older jokes.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And they go fine, but new material is so much more exciting. It's so much more fun
Yeah, dude, totally.
when they're going well.
You can do sometimes what I have found works for that, and I don't do this on purpose necessarily, but like the days where my older whatever work better is when like I've just been sitting there trying to kind of think about those specific bits as they relate to me that week.
Oh.
You know what I mean? It's an interesting exercise.
Well, that's actually pretty good advice.
Because you might tell it just very slightly differently, and it will just be so much more
It's
genuine.
fresh again. It's fresh.
It's fresh again suddenly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anytime I find, at least if I'm doing like a set that's like unusual to me, if it's like, okay, when I started this like kind of slew of road stuff that I've been doing, I hadn't done a set like that in a while, and then somehow by just like putting the set together, it like made it feel fresh. You know what I mean? And I'm
Yeah.
kind of like, oh, that's a fun thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, we don't have time for that necessarily. And I know you're bouncing around doing a ton of spots, but like when I do that, yeah. So I don't know, whatever.
Really good. I appreciate that. That was good advice.
I mean, dude, not that I am one to give you advice.
What are you talking about?
Just because we're having this conversation, I thought that was a fun thing to offer.
It was a good thing to offer, and I would take comedy advice from you 100%.
But like, okay, that's nice of you
You've
to
been
say.
doing it just as long, I think longer than I have.
But that doesn't.
You've got
that doesn't
got
mean anything.
war stories, and
Yeah, no, I mean,
you've seen some things.
It's very easy for like this conversation to go wrong, which is the only reason why I'm giving so many.
You think I'm a comedian. I've told you this before.
I know, but bro, okay, fine.
You have me mistaken for a comedian.
You know what I mean? Like there are things that
100%.
there are things that just like people will preach gospel to me about comedy, and there are just different techniques, there are different approaches, and like not one size does not fit all.
True, but you
And-
know that I subscribe to that, which means I'm open-minded.
Right.
And therefore,
As am I.
And therefore, I would definitely take notes from you. I would take tags from you.
I
would
mean,
take you telling me, dude, that joke sucks. Take it out of your act.
I would never do that.
I would take it though.
Good
I
to
wouldn't. I wouldn't be resentful. You and I know each other
know. Yeah. I just
long
think
time.
I feel that would be an overstep on my part. Who am I to say? I watch a joke do bad once.
Who are you to say? You're like the guy to say. You are the guy
I am, but like
to
dude,
me who could do that to me.
comedy is like
You and like Louis C.K. and some of fucking hallowed legends are the guys and the gals who could do it.
Dude, comedy to me is like this expanding universe where like anything's possible almost, and I feel very cautious about sort of writing things off. Or like knowing if I watch you do a joke that doesn't work, me now telling you that joke should be scrapped, I think to me is inappropriate. I know you were just giving an example, but like I am no one, I shouldn't say that. Maybe if I think of something funny to improve, you've given me tags. I mean,
Have I?
Yeah. Suggesting tags to me is like so innocent. Like who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Hey, I had this fun, I watched you, I was listening, and I have a fun idea for you. take it or leave it. Like, I don't see how in any way that's insulting.
I agree.
Even from like an inexperienced comic. Like if somebody new gives me a tag, I'm like, all right, if I don't want to use it, fine. And if I do, sometimes I do.
Right.
I don't know.
Who's the great roast joke writer?
Jeff Ross?
No, our buddy, Matt
Broussard?
Mm-hmm. Gave me a tag once, and
Nice.
I used it in my special.
Oh, amazing.
I mean, it was that good.
Yeah.
It was so good that it made me feel shitty about myself. I was like, oh, the joke, you just improved it so much. I wish I could have done that on my own.
Ricky's a good tag taker.
Totally.
Like if you like, I've seen people like give him things, and he is very receptive. I was always
cool.
impressed by that.
See, there's a guy where I would not want to give him anything.
Right.
Because I would just say, you're doing this better than I am, so I wouldn't. Who am I? That is the feeling. Yeah.
I feel you.
Very interesting.
Cool.
Well, the other thing I was saying to these guys, now we're a week from the wedding, and apologies if we're dating ourselves here, but you guys get it. I'm going on honeymoon, wedding, all this stuff. You can't expect us to be recording while I'm in
Mozambique.
Kenya. As far as I know, they don't have great Wi-Fi over there and Zoom episodes, whatever. But we commit to our promise to have a new episode of Oops the Podcast for you every single time. We've never broken that promise, so here we are. And I am very much feeling pretty helpless these days.
What do you mean?
In the lead up to the wedding, I feel totally out of control in my spending. And it's not just me making decisions for myself. It's just expenses that keep popping up.
Yeah.
Things you got to pay for. Nonsense. $300 here, $400 there. It's tough, man.
Yeah.
I feel like I said to these guys, I feel like I'm in a river the current is pushing me downstream. I'm sort of floating. And that there's debris all around me. And people on the shore are yelling out, hey, you see that sandwich floating to your right? Can you throw that to me? I say, okay. So I grab the sandwich, I throw it. Almost makes me drown, but I do it. And then someone on the other bank is like, hey, you see that bicycle? Can you push that my way? And I swim over and push them the bicycle. And I'm not in control of my direction. I don't feel like I have any say. And not only do I not have any say because the river is sweeping me downstream, but people are continuing to add things that make the process of staying afloat that much more difficult.
Yeah, it's a classic example of you're spending money on the things you want to spend it on, but maybe those things you want to spend it on are so expensive that then the things you don't feel like spending on feel more difficult to stomach. Because you're tapped out,
but it's
so
also,
now you're like, fuck.
It's not just spending money. It's errands.
Yeah.
Errands galore, countless errands. It's every piece of work that I've done in my life. Everyone saying, now is the time for us to focus on this in the week leading up to your wedding.
On what?
All kinds of projects that I hadn't really heard about for a while, or various paperwork things and big decisions and, all that. And
it's all good, brother.
Oh, man. Well, if nothing else, as I said to these guys, it will make me appreciate the honeymoon more. I'm hoping that I can take enough deep breaths before the day of the wedding to center myself and be able to stay present and look around and enjoy that.
Yeah.
And not feel like, okay, I just have to get through this and then we're on vacation. I don't want to just get through my wedding.
Yeah, dude, you should be really trying to enjoy yourself, even now. Give it the old college try.
We've been told some interesting pieces of advice that a couple of different people have told us. One is make sure to take moments to look around while you're at your wedding and realize how many people are there and how much love there is there, because it's very easy to get sort of swept up and just bounced around from one handshake to the next.
How you guys doing over here, huh?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the eggplant's wonderful. We got it from a guy actually. Who,
yeah.
I know. It's spectacular. Well, guys, enjoy yourselves.
Yeah.
You know.
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you. And really to sort of take stock of this moment because it will be over very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing we've been told is to stay together.
Oh, during it.
Yeah.
Oh, how fun is that?
Because we're a unit and we are being presented together. And if we when we're at parties and social life and all that, we do have a tendency to sort of, okay, I'll go get us a drink. You do this. You're saying hi to, she's saying hi to these people. I'm over here. When we kind of reconnect at various points throughout the night, but a lot of the time it's sort of bouncing around to our different islands. And we want to be kind of together so that we can experience it together and say hi to people together and thank people together. And I think that that's a really good piece of advice. Because I think that at our wedding, it would be very easy for us to sort of separate.
Yeah.
And then not see each other for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Which would be sad.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with that. That's nice. That's nice advice, man. It's going to be great. I'm super psyched. I have begun. So this is the thing that always kind of intrigues me a bit. So at so many of the wedding weekends I've been a part of, I encounter a person giving some sort of substantial speech. And oftentimes they have not begun even working on it till that weekend.
Yeah.
Which to me is like, and then they end up giving a great speech. But still, and a lot of time it'll be people who seem like they really have their shit together. And they probably, life got in the way and they're like, all right, I'm going to go write this speech now. Mm-hmm. And they kind of break off from the afternoon drinks to go write their speech. And I have like a multiple step process that I am using, which tends to be my process in general for an assignment like this, which is I sort of passively write it for a while. Anything that pops in my head, I'll write it down. Step 2 will be the actual sitting and thinking of more stuff along with the stuff I've already thought of in the attempt to make it a good one. And then letting that sit for a bit and then looking at it again, seeing if I think of anything and then sort of refining it and trying to make it tight, And I wonder what is the appropriate amount of time to be preparing some sort of speech. If someone were to ask, in your opinion.
Well, that's a good question. I mean, I think somewhat similar to what you said, it's sort of a different amount of time for everybody.
Yeah.
If you're someone who's like you, who could probably do really well at this without having prepared a single word.
Oh, man.
And could just go up there and kind of wing it because of your comedy experience and your public speaking experience, the fact that you've officiated multiple weddings and spoken at weddings. This is going to be a walk in the park for you with nothing in the bag, but to bring anything to the bag or, with you prepared just instantly elevates you past a lot of people.
In theory, knocking on wood.
So I don't know. For you, it's like, yeah, I don't know. You could do it in a week. It's probably right.
Yeah.
I think, but it's what you said is it's not all going to come to you at that time.
Right.
So
right.
Finding these little nuggets that pop up and having your mind passively on this project for a long time will enhance the variety of thoughts you bring to your speech.
No, totally. And I think that that's the risk that you run by kind of writing it the day before is that you don't have time to mine all of the memories and thoughts and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But excited for that, man. Psyched for the weekend. A lot of good stuff coming up. End of summer. That's exactly how it should be.
Right.
Packed. Lots of good shit. What are you doing this upcoming weekend before the actual wedding?
I'm going to try to play some golf.
Nice.
I want to just do me, man. I want to be on the driving range, hitting 6 irons rhythmically.
Nice.
With some, earbuds in, listening to a funny podcast or a good song.
Do you ever get to just play around alone?
Yeah.
And
lovely.
And you throw in the pods?
Sometimes I will.
Nice.
Usually I listen to a podcast or music if I'm practicing.
Got it.
But if I'm playing, I like to be silent. I leave my phone in the locker. I don't bring it out on the course, and I just walk, carry my bag.
That's great.
Hit the ball, walk up to the ball, hit it again.
Nice.
Set the bag down, putt, miss, putt again, miss, pick up my ball, move on to the next hole.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
That's lovely.
It's really nice. It's really rhythmic and meditative to me.
Yeah, it sounds therapeutic.
Golf is very meditative to me. Here's another thing. Shoes.
Shoes.
What do you think about shoes?
I mean, listen, they're great, dude.
Do you like shoes
I do. Shoes are good.
as much as chews?
Dude, shoes, forget about it.
You think I'd take a couple chews, go buy some shoes?
Sounds like an incredible day, man.
I mean, I think I'll see the shoes better
We
if I've had some shoes.
That's right. That vitamin E or whatever is good for your eye, for your vision. I have no idea which vitamin is good for your vision, but it's one of them.
I believe
Some
it.
fish oil,
Fish oil.
chews.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
My
Boy-
mom used to make me take fish oil, and there were the capsules because apparently like the other shit like doesn't really work or whatever. But I don't know. Anyway, I would like just be burping up fish.
yeah, it's tough. I know
and
exactly.
I was like, Mom, I
what you mean.
can't take these anymore.
Right.
She was like, all right.
It's funny, when I did my physical recently, he had a list of all the things that I'd said I took on a regular basis the last time I was there, 2018. And it was long.
Mm.
It was multivitamin, fish oil, all sorts of various supplements and things. And he goes, "You still taking all these things?" I said, "Not a one. Not a one."
What'd he say?
He goes, "Okay." Didn't really seem to care too much. Okay, but shoes.
Choose.
All right, so
Shoes.
so I don't want to spend any more money. I really do not want to spend any more money. However,
Yeah, dude. Like, see, this is your problem, bro.
no, I don't have a dress shoe that works.
Okay.
With-
This is a necessity.
I had to
conversation.
throw out a bunch of shoes I had.
You threw out shoes?
Yeah.
Where'd they go?
I don't know.
In the garbage? Why'd you have to throw them out?
I'm not I think they were just, it was time to get rid of them.
Yeah.
They were beaten.
Yeah.
They were beaten to death. They weren't expensive.
Bye bye.
You know, they were just bargain rack. I get a lot of lucky. I have pretty big feet, so you go to those bargain stores and you can go to the 13 and there's some cheap ones on there, you know?
Yeah.
Alden and Designer Shoe Warehouse, some of those places, you can get some good deals.
The big boys.
Early on in my life, you know, that's where I got my shoes.
That's solid.
And now I think I deserve a little bit more of an elevated taste. But I have a good loafer, but it's not formal enough for the wedding.
You're looking for a signature shoe.
Well, everything has changed. Everything has changed. Now the suits we wear, the leg is so much higher.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone brought the cuff of the leg in a men's suit it used to fall with a fold over the shoe.
No longer.
It used to have a break in the pant. And now it went from having a break in the pant to hitting the middle of your shin.
We're just wearing capris now.
Yeah,
dude.
the guys are out there wearing pants that you could cross a small stream in.
You could play Wimbledon in.
Yeah. Yeah. And so my dress shoes are the one good pair that I still have. I have kind of a boot, which wouldn't work.
Boot.
Yeah. And then I have another shoe, which, you know, it's too dressy in a way for a pant this high.
Okay.
It would look ridiculous.
Shoes.
So so I gotta go
Yeah.
and get a loafer that's not too undressy. I gotta get a dressy loafer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Now, here's what happens. You go online, you start reading about men's loafers. There's so many damn shoe companies.
Yeah.
I was very overwhelmed, and everyone has a different opinion. You get these guys reviewing the companies.
Who are
They
these?
say top 28 men's shoe companies. Like, I didn't know there were 28 shoe companies. And there's so much anger in these reviews.
That's crazy.
This one guy was he was mad that, his company was charging what it was charging, given that the shoes are machine made. And then he's got high regard for certain other ones, but they're super expensive, like $1,200, $1,300. But then I say to myself, well, okay, I deserve something nice.
You do, bro.
Because I'm sure Sierra spent a lot on her shoes. But then I say, well, then on the other hand, if I were to buy a shoe of that expensive, I would just feel even more drowned down this river of shame and regret and loss.
Shoe river.
Yeah.
Dude, you'll be happy to hear, maybe not. I was having the same problem.
Yeah.
Hillary,
I think a lot of guys can relate to this.
Hillary not only selected my shoe, but also paid for them.
What? Damn.
Thanks, baby.
Bro.
Love you.
Damn, bro.
And they're sick.
Yeah, I bet they are. Do you want to tell me the company?
I don't actually know what company, but
Okay.
they're like, I don't.
What kind of a shoe is it?
It's like a blue loafer.
Oh.
It's fucking sick. I think they're suede too.
Suede.
Yeah, dude.
Yes.
Hard.
Hard and on.
So when are you gonna go get these shoes, bro?
Well, yesterday I was picking up my suit finally, the one I had, tailored and I'd bought probably 3 months ago and never picked up. And while I was in the place where they had that store, I went around to some other stores and tried some shoes on and found some that I really liked. But thank God, in a way, I had at least the feeling of not wanting to spend any more money because I walked out without buying anything. Did the old, let me get your business
Do you have
card.
a card?
Yeah. I'll get your card. I'm close.
I'm coming back.
Close.
I'll be here tomorrow.
Need to run it by my fiance.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you just send her a picture? Oh no, she's on a work call.
She can't see.
Yeah. I need to describe it to her. I need to trace her hand across a raised etching of the shoe. So I didn't buy anything, and I'll tell you something. How do you feel not buying something from a store that has brought out 9 different pairs?
Yeah, we were talking about this.
Multiple sizes.
It's tough.
The salesperson is on their knee. They've measured your foot. They are, bending over. They've helped you put on the try-on sock, which is basically just a piece of pantyhose. That's the other thing. I was wearing shorts, a t-shirt, and a hat to try on fancy dress shoes. You'll never look more of a doofus.
You just look like a pilgrim.
Yeah, you look like a doofus trying on fancy dress shoes.
And that's the thing too. It's hard to see the vision.
It sure is.
When you don't have the other pieces. It's such an interesting, challenging thing that requires a lot of time and thought.
Yeah.
But dude, you'll solve it. You'll get there.
Yeah.
There's a shoe for you.
I hope so.
There is a shoe for you.
I
But yeah,
sure
dude,
hope
you
so.
need, you do need that. You need it.
Dude, this isn't helping though.
No, it is. It should, because you're going to get them anyway. So, I don't actually know that, but you need them. What are you going to do?
You're right. I don't have a choice.
This is a thing of necessity rather than you can't hope that you end up looking all right on this particular occasion.
One Christmas we were home in Maine, and we used to go to church on Christmas Eve because it was a nice service. It was pretty non-denominational, and the music was nice, and it was a nice family thing. And I didn't have any dress shoes at home, and I hadn't brought any home, so I had some brown leather golf shoes, and I wore those to church. You don't think I can wear golf shoes to my wedding, do you?
You probably could. You probably could. They look very loaferly oftentimes.
I can't wear golf shoes to the wedding.
But if they're those very obvious sort of different colored, I'm just saying you could maybe get away with it.
Golf shoes have gotten pretty dressy.
Yeah,
Some of the spikeless ones.
Yeah, there we
from
go.
Echo.
And you could even take the spikes off, right?
I think maybe.
You have a little screwdriver.
I'd want them in there though. Just in case someone says, let's tee up a few balls and hit them into the water. I have these biodegradable golf balls.
Did you tell me that?
I might have.
Because I've seen you guys ripping them into the thing.
We hit them biodegradable balls into the water. Kind of fun.
I love that, bro. I love that for you.
Yeah.
The finishing touches, man.
Yeah.
The finishing touches.
Which makes me think it'd be fun to. Oh, Sierra had a really good idea for a prank.
Really?
She keeps telling me we got to do it.
Oh, that's great.
This is right up your alley.
Oh, yeah.
So, her dad passed away a couple years ago,
Mhm.
and she was wondering if there was a thing we could do to honor him at the wedding. And I had a couple very nice ideas. And then she goes, well, I think we should do something funny because he was a funny guy. She goes, what if we tried to find a way to make people think that they had drunk some of his ashes?
Oh, my God. That's hilarious.
And then we started scheming this idea where we said, okay, everybody raise a glass. You'll see the champagne in front of you, yada, yada. And we would say, to honor Sierra's dad, blah, 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 toast. Everyone takes a sip. And then we would say very solemnly, and just so you know, we took the time to sprinkle a little bit of his ashes in everyone's cup so that he could be in all of you. and hold it. You got to hold it.
That's
you can't
funny.
break on that.
That's good.
To watch people be like, what the fuck? We just drank human ash?
That is really funny.
It could be good.
You could also single someone out there in a funny way. Like, for example, you'd be like, all right, guys, let's raise a glass. And then you start to sip or whatever. And then you I don't know, as Hillary's beginning to drink, you're looking, wait a second, oh my God, Hillary, no, Hillary, wait.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
She'd be like, wait, what? Oh my God. You're like, no.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that was the one. Wait, you put his ashes in one champagne flute? Why would you do that? I don't know. You love champagne. Yeah, it's her idea. She wants
That's
to do
very
it.
funny,
I
I like it. I
it's
really like it.
it's definitely our speed for sure.
You
but
gotta love a good prank,
Pretty
man.
macabre joke. I like that Sierra wants to do
Yeah,
it.
that's impressive.
It makes me think very highly of her sense of humor.
Dude, we did a good prank. As you know, I used to be on a prank show. No big deal. Good luck finding it. I don't know if I have all the episodes, which that is a thing that I do that I recommend any person who's an actor or anything. When something of you comes out, get it. Because it's not going to be on there forever. And then one day you won't be able to watch it.
It's a really good idea.
It's fun to collect your stuff.
My great AT&T commercial is gone forever.
Not on YouTube?
No.
It sucks, yeah.
And it was a real good piece of work.
Yeah.
It was funny. It was just me.
Yeah, man.
Sad that I can't see that anymore.
We got to try to find it. I can probably help.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be a fun project. Anyway, but yeah, dude, it's good to keep all this. It's fun to try to keep it all. Anyway, one of the pranks we did didn't make it to air because it was a little too macabre.
Mm-hmm.
But it was basically there was a alcoholics sort of happy hour where they were drinking non-alcoholic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the person serving the non-alcoholic drinks was the person we were pranking. And essentially, as we were all there drinking this non-alcoholic stuff, we all start to get hammered. And we realized that they've been serving us real alcohol the whole time. And the person at the bar is now bugging out. And
wait, I'm confused. What's real?
Nothing. Nothing about this is real. The person the bartender is being pranked. So we're all these actors at the bar at this recovering alcoholics.
Oh, and the bartender is knows that you're recovering alcoholics and is therefore supposed to be serving you non-alcoholic drinks.
Yes, so it's set up in a way where the manager's like, listen, there's a bunch of non-alcoholic stuff right here. You can serve it to all of them. Accidentally, she served us alcohol type of thing, and then we all sort of drove home or something.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Which is a pretty good one. It obviously didn't end up airing. It was a little too whatever. A little too risque.
Damn, that's
but
pretty good.
It was pretty good, dude.
Yeah, that is good. I like that.
God, there were some good ones.
Damn.
Pranks are fun, man.
It'd be fun to see
Except
that.
when they're mean.
Yeah.
There was a couple times where I felt a little icky. Like the blind date jokes or pranks can be iffy because this person will be set up on this date with this person that they're excited to be on a date with.
And
they're
nervous,
like, oh, wow.
certainly nervous about.
Right, nervous. I'm on this date and now, haha, you've been pranked.
Right.
And then they feel bad.
And they're never going on a blind date again.
Yeah, and then they're
trusting love.
They're like, oh, this is a little mean-spirited.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, one good one, blind date one. These two people are eating, and every single time The actor looks down. Every single person in the restaurant starts filming the other person on the date. And then she looks up and everyone stops. And he's like, are you seeing this? She's like, what are you talking about? He's like, everyone in the restaurant. She's like, I'll show it to you sometime. And then looks down, happens again. And then at one point, dude, the one guy looks at her. He goes, listen, if you're going to kill me, he's like, can I just like call my family first? Like, you deads, dude. It's so good. What a fun fucking thing, man.
That reminds me of, I don't know if I've told you this, but my senior year, we were in AP calculus and we had a really great class. Somehow, for whatever reason, the entire class was boys.
Just randomly?
Yeah, there were only 2 AP Calc classes, and one of them was obviously totally co-ed, and the other was all guys. And it was like the 17, 16, cool dudes at the school.
Got it.
In my class who were, popular, but also smart and had their shit together. And it's senior spring, so all we have really left at this point is to take the exam, but the grade in the class doesn't really matter that much.
Right,
we're
just
all
how
into
you do an AP
colleges. It's
exam.
like whatever.
Oh, sick. You're just now hoping to get the college credit.
Or just to do as well on the test as possible, but because almost to really honor the teacher. We liked the teacher a lot, and we wanted it to reflect well for him.
Do you need to get a 5?
You need to have a lot of 5s to get enough college credit to graduate a semester early or something like that.
4s don't count?
I don't think so.
I never took an AP class, by the way.
Mm.
Fucking slacker kid.
Nice.
You guys didn't either? Damn.
Really? Class president Ryan, you didn't take any APs? Did you have them at your school? Interesting. I was always told that even if you weren't going to do that well on the test, I had to take those classes because they had to know that I was taking.
Yeah.
That was like when I was being recruited for sports, the coach was like, you got to take
the
hardest classes you can.
And then you went to Harvard. And
yeah, but I didn't get 5s really. I got a bunch of 4s and some 3s. I had no shot at college credit or anything like that.
Interesting.
The one that was good was I did well on the French exam, which meant that I didn't have to take any language courses.
Oh, that's amazing.
When I got to school.
That's amazing.
But the point was, senior spring, we're in this class, 16 guys, who have their shit together, but we were like goofy. The class was right after lunch. And there was a TV in the classroom, and we would leave lunch early to go to the classroom to turn on Family Feud.
Oh, wow.
And then we would chant feud, 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 feud. And we would sort of like, I don't think it was even Steve Harvey hosting it yet. I think it was whoever was hosting before that. And we would be like, let's go to the big board, and then finally the teacher would come in and we'd turn it off and like settle in. But one day we had this idea to do a little prank where when the clock struck 1:05 p.m. and if the teacher was facing the whiteboard like drawing up a theory or something like that, just instantly all of us, as the teacher's back was turned to us, we would all take our shirts off. And we were all watching the clock, the second hand come around. Sure enough, he's facing the whiteboard, he's drawing up a big thing, and you could hear the whoosh of the whoosh. We all just ripped our shirts off and then went back down to writing it. And he turned around, and then we all just died laughing. It was really funny.
The teacher liked it too?
Yeah, of course he did.
That's good.
It's a harmless prank. We all had our shit together.
It's good.
So
that's amazing.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. I liked that. That was a fun one.
That was hilarious. It may remind me, I have a movie recommendation if you've never seen it. The Substitute with Tom Berenger. It's about this. It's the first like teacher getting back at the bad students plot that I can think of. It was pre-Dangerous Minds. I don't even know if that's what happened in Dangerous Minds. I'm just like, as far as, I don't know. I had never seen this storyline before. And it's amazing. And bro, the main bad guy is Mark Anthony, the singer.
Who married J-Lo.
Correct. And he is so good. It's insane how good he is.
Whoa.
The movie's like pretty corny in a lot of ways. It's a little like campy.
Okay.
But Mark Anthony sells these insane moments. and they're so like, that's good acting to me.
Wow.
Like you are selling, like at one point he calls the name of Mark Anthony's character when he's taking attendance, and Mark Anthony has 2 women sitting on his lap and within the classroom, and he realizes that he's being called, puts down his Oakleys, sticks 2 fingers in his mouth, and only one comes out and gives the finger to the teacher. And everyone's like, ooh. And he does it in this way, dude, that is just like, my dad, my brother, and I have still quote that movie, bro.
What say the name again?
It's called The Substitute.
Okay.
Wow. Dude, it's so good.
That's a blast from the past. So Mark Anthony's a student.
He's the student, but like there's a lot of illegal things happening in the school. And Tom Berenger's wife is a teacher there. She kind of stands up to the gang and she ends up getting hit with a bat while she's running down the street.
Jesus.
Tom Berenger's character by trade is a mercenary, but he decides that
This is preposterous.
he decides that even though there isn't any money up front, there might be some money on the back end because he suspects his drugs being funneled through the school. And one of the other mercenaries gets offense. He's like, Vietnam made you soft, man.
Wow.
He's like, and anyway, so
he goes on
he doctors this whole resume, and he then pretends to be the substitute teacher. And he starts like going and like beating the shit out of kids. It's amazing, dude.
Wow. So it's kind of like,
dude, it's great.
21 Jump Street meets
Yes.
Stand and Deliver meets
sure.
Behind Enemy Lines.
Yes, all that stuff.
Wow.
And it's really, really good. And there are really good moments in it.
Do you ever do that? You ever do what I just did?
You like have to if you're like
That's
back in the day when
right.
I used to try to pitch TV shows and shit.
I had no idea.
Sort of
I don't know. I had no idea how important that was.
Yeah, it's like a Nathan For You meets Debbie Does Dallas.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
nice, dude.
Picture this meets this. Picture Titanic meets Field of Dreams with a dash of Inception thrown in. You're like, what? I can't picture that at all.
Schindler's List meets Space Jam.
Yeah.
I need to see that, dude.
Okay.
Please tell me more.
So an animated Holocaust film
Starring LeBron James.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. Okay, cool. Wow. I guess we finished shoes. That was finished. So I'm gonna have to get some. Thank you for giving me the green light on that.
You're welcome. Happy to do it anytime.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I just think, you're living your life well. And
let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What happens when I don't pay off my credit card for the month?
Well, technically speaking, depending on how much money has been spent on it, like on the cards that you have, to my knowledge, I don't know which card we're talking about, but on the platinum, you have to pay it off if you exceed a certain level. I don't know what happens if you.
I haven't hit my spending limit.
So, but there's a pay it all at once limit. So, like if you're below that, you can, if you want to be a sucker, pay interest and not pay it all off right away. But once you exceed a certain amount, you're supposed to be paying it all off. So I don't know what happens in that situation because I've never gotten to it.
Oh.
But on your other card, you can just fucking not pay. You just do the minimum payment if you want, and then when
pay interest.
Then when you have some more money, the next month pay off the full balance.
But you've accrued interest.
You've accrued interest, but it's annual interest. So like if you get charged interest 1 month, it's like not going to kill you. It's not going to be that much money.
What is the interest?
I think it's like 20-something% annually.
20%?
Annually. So it will be, I think, a fraction of that number, a 12th.
Okay.
I believe. I'm not positive on that, but that's my understanding.
20 is,
So you'd be charged 20-something% on the entire year on it, on the money, on the balance.
Yeah, be like $2.50, $2.40 or something like that on $20.
Yeah, but over for the entire year. No, $20 would be $4 to $5 or something. $4.50. I don't know what interest rate you have, but
all right.
Yeah, whatever.
I don't want to do it, but
or you can do a balance transfer.
It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough.
You'll be fine.
I don't know. I'm gonna need some miracle checks to come out of nowhere, which
they tend
unfortunately keeps happening, and that is not good for me.
Shout out to Navy Federal Credit Union for saving my life when I really needed it.
Yeah,
I was this close to being in the alley turning tricks. And Navy Federal Credit Union hit me with another, we're going to run this for another year. Here you go.
Yeah.
Thanks. And all I said, dude, in that commercial, whoa. Oh, sweet. it's preposterous some of the things that I've done and said. One time I forget how much money I made. Nothing crazy, but I think I made $5,000. And all I said was, "Morning, Val." And in the commercial, they already had someone saying it, but they had like an accent or something that they didn't like. So they hired me to say "Morning, Val" for an Olympics commercial, for like a Visa Olympics commercial.
Yeah.
Morning, Val.
Love that.
You just love easy paydays, bro.
Of course.
That's what it's all about.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Why don't we bring her home? Maybe we could do an email.
Got an email?
A fun
Show me an email.
Okay. This is an interesting one. Can the girl from the Maniac song actually dance well? What up, fellas? I came across a small literary epiphany the other day. I got in my car and the song Maniac from the movie Flashdance was playing. As you know, the chorus goes, "She's a maniac, maniac on the floor, and she's dancing like she's never danced before."
Nice. Yep.
Thank you. The lyrics are supposed to be clearly about this woman who's going mad with passion and reaching peaks in her dancing that she's never before achieved. She's killing it. But without altering the lyrics at all, the chorus also could describe a woman who is making a complete ass of herself. She's a maniac, as in she just looks insane. She's dancing like she's never danced before, as in they're like, has this chick ever tried dancing before? What the fuck is she doing? I'm wondering if Francis knows if there's a name for this kind of thing, where a phrase can have completely opposite meanings without altering any words. So I guess there's two questions there. Big fan. I'm looking forward to seeing Julio.
This is such a... I don't even know where to begin. I don't know if this deserves our time or not. I'm not sure if we care or if the audience cares.
I think it's a good question. And maybe I'm partial because I know this guy and I like him.
I don't. Yeah, it's good. It's definitely different.
Yeah,
which I like. I don't know if there is a word for that, for to describe something that can somehow mean itself and its antonym.
Right.
In a way.
Right.
Gary Gulman does a great bit about that when he talks about how millennials have co-opted literally to contain both its meaning and its antonym.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I don't know. I guess I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I also do not take. I don't take it to mean the mocking negative version of the lyrics.
Yeah, because to me, it's true. Like, there's a fine line. It feels as if she is dancing so hard. There's a chance that she is making a bit of a scene, unless she's dancing really well. And sometimes there's a fine line between craziness and genius.
Here's a question. Was the song written for the movie?
I do not know.
Okay, if we can find that out, if that song was sort of an original soundtrack song,
that's a very good.
Then it would have to be colored by that scene. And obviously, she's a good dancer.
Totally.
In that scene, which would mean that the song was meant to be complimenting her.
That's a very, very... We could actually potentially solve this question with the answer to that.
At least in terms of the intention of the lyrics.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And as far as I remember, I have seen the movie. It's quite good. And I recommend it.
Is that the one where she dumps the water on herself?
I don't remember.
Flashdance?
Flashdance. Yeah, I think so.
Jennifer... I don't know. Lopez?
No. What's her name again? Jennifer Grey? Jennifer Beals.
I've never seen this movie, but everyone talks about it and says it's iconic.
It's fun. It's really good.
Yeah.
Okay. So, is there anything on that, Ryan? Can that be included in FWR?
Give me a few more.
Give him a sec.
Facts with Ryan. Facts with Ryan.
We'll get to facts with Ryan in a sec.
He is trying. Facts with Ryan. Well, tell me about yourself, Julio Goloratsky.
Okay, let's see if I have a quick tidbit while Ryan researches. I think I do. I suspect I do.
You got a tidbit?
I think I have a tidbit. Okay.
Let me ask you this. Can I ask you a specific question?
Sure, Francis.
What's your plan from a consumption perspective for the day of our wedding? How many drinks are you gonna put away? What else are you gonna try? What's happening?
Okay, so unfortunately, I succumb to the occasion. So if I were to try to be like, oh, Friday night, I'm going to take it easy, that's a load of shit. Francis. I'm just not even. I might as well just like admit that I'm going into Friday night expecting to have a great time. And a lot of times what happens at weddings too is I eat too much to even get that drunk. So I'm kind of not that worried. On Saturday, I'm not a big day drinker to begin with. So I'm actually not in any way worried that somehow I'd be too fucked up to deliver the speech properly.
Oh yeah.
I'm not even worried about
I'm
that.
not worried about that.
So I will probably go for it on Friday. Saturday night, I will also go for it. Additionally,
He's gonna go for it.
I'm going for it.
My boy's going for it.
I'm going for it. And then Monday, I'm going to the U.S. Open,
Holy smokes!
which I'm excited for.
Who are you seeing?
Don't know. The draws have not yet come out.
Is it the first round or?
It will be the first round. Yeah, it'll be the night
Nice.
session. So my guess is that it'll be like Medvedev versus the kid who won Kalamazoo.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be the worst match of the tournament, most likely.
Yeah.
But it'll be fun.
Are you flying to Maine?
I sure am.
Yeah, nice.
That's the other thing I wanted to talk about. So Francis and I are really going to maybe be neck and neck this year with the flight competition. Francis is currently up 3 flights. I'm putting 4 flights in the bank before the main flight. So I will be ahead of you before the honeymoon begins.
What in the hell?
I'm going to New Orleans I have a road gig. Then I'm going to DC for the Bad Bunny concert, which we can talk about on the next episode.
Mm-hmm.
So those will be 4 legs there. I'll be at 31, I believe. You'll be at 30. Then we'll both be flying to Maine, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to pulverize me.
Surge, but not surge to the point of being out of reach.
Correct. And you should be up around 6. By mid-September, you should be up around 6.
I can't believe I'm not
total
up more.
legs.
I don't know I don't know how I could have flown more than I have this year.
Yeah, same. Dude, Ricky's taking like 60 flights. I don't understand.
Jeez Louise.
I know. It's actually upsetting. It upset
crazy.
me when I heard that. He's also diamond status, which upset me as well.
Yeah.
He sent us a text with it, if you recall.
Well, I do remember, yeah, because
Yeah.
he was right there. The sliver, the tiniest sliver of needed miles.
Yeah.
That's a good feeling when
It
you
must
know
be.
the next flight's going to get you there.
And you're going to change color.
And it doesn't even need to be a long flight.
Nope.
Just a little puddle jumper.
Fly down the road.
Fly from New York to Westchester.
All right, Ryan, what do you got, pal?
Facts with Ryan. Facts with Ryan. Were they lying? Facts with Ryan.
Okay. So, real quick, according to the FCC, good internet is at or above 25 megabytes per second. Kenya's average internet speed is 22.74, so just below the average. And then the US is 42.86.
Damn,
Okay.
son.
Mm.
Okay.
That's a good. Where's that chart? Where'd you find that? This is good stuff.
I found that on a website on Google.
On the
and
internet.
you can search any countries.
You found it
You
on
can
the
search
internet.
any countries.
There's a big list. I could spend more time.
no,
and
it's okay. I'm curious for my
find more,
own.
but it's on there,
Okay, good
and
to
it's
know.
pretty easy to find.
Nice.
Vitamin A is what's
Ah.
good for vision, so that's recommended.
Good to know.
John O'Hurley was probably hosting Family Feud. He was the one prior to
Mhm.
Harvey.
Okay.
Janus is a word that is meant to be its own opposite. The origin meaning that it is someone having 2 faces, one looking forward and one looking backwards.
Janus.
Janus. With
Janus.
a J. So I couldn't find any examples of a word that means itself in its antonym, but that's what it would be referred to as.
Wow.
And then a little bit about maniac.
Wait, I have is
Yeah.
Is inflammable one?
Let's see.
Because I think inflammable might be capable of catching fire, improbably, and then I don't know if it means not capable of catching fire as well.
Okay, wait a minute. So it's also a contronym, which are words that
Contronym is a nice word. I like that.
that one's better than Janus.
I like Janus sounds like a piece of the penis.
The
That
Janus.
people don't really know about.
The vaginus.
People
Oh,
point out that flammable and inflammable are examples of
Oh.
a contronym.
Are you kidding?
Pretty cool.
Come on.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
pretty good.
People point out that
good.
that's the fucking example. No wonder this guy's making the big bucks.
Come
Out
on.
tutoring over here.
Come on. That's pretty
fucking
good.
There you go,
bonkers.
Francis.
Pulled that out of the
Bonkers.
old quiver.
That's crazy, bro.
Let's patch things up on the origin of Maniac.
Okay.
So I found this blurb. Just going to read it all. Maniac is a song from the 1983 film Flashdance that was written by Dennis Mikowski and its performer Michael Cimbello. The original idea for the song came to Mikowski when watching a news report on a serial killer, which inspired gruesome lyrics that he and Cimbello expanded upon. When Flashdance director Adrian Lynn grew attached to the demo of the song used during filming, his music supervisor requested lyrics more appropriate for their story of a dancer and worked with Cimbello to produce a newer version for the soundtrack.
Wow. To me,
Wow.
that explanation almost lends credence to both arguments.
I know.
Because
More confusing.
if he wrote it originally to describe a serial killer, you'd have to say out of control, crazy,
Yeah.
bad, negative.
Yeah.
And yet to have it be repurposed for the movie, which it was, it was specifically repurposed for the film. So you'd have to assume he's probably aware of what he's writing the song for.
Totally.
Then maybe it's more positive about her dancing.
And maybe there's just no direct literal, you know what I mean? Like songs that are just literally describing what happened. Like that's kind of weird. Like she's picking up the fork,
Yeah.
put it in her mouth.
You know
Like
what-
that's like weird.
you
So
know
maybe
what-
it's not.
You know what
even-
was a very literal song?
Hmm.
Hurricane by Bob Dylan.
Oh yeah, it was.
It was a story.
Yeah. But at least it's a real story. To me, the hackiest thing is the fake story song. Then you really might know what it's like. That song sucks, dude. Mary got married to a kid named John who said he was in love. Dude, it's so stupid. Like, don't worry about a thing, baby girl. I'm the man you've been dreaming of.
Wow. I don't know all the words to that one.
I don't know if I know more, to be honest. But then even like, what would you do if your son was at home? That's a banger. But like, is that song true? Like, you're just naming all the worst things that could happen to somebody. How convenient.
Yeah, and by the way, with that song, the part that always to me, have I said this to you?
I don't know.
That always stood out to me as being preposterous is the girl being like, my dad used to rape us and beat me and my sister. We ran away. And then the guy talking to her and hearing this story goes, girl, you ain't the only one with a baby. That's no excuse to be living all crazy. It's like, dude, just because you have a child doesn't mean you can relate or judge the tale of horror
that you've
that
just
she
heard.
just gave to you. Who do you think you are?
I know.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes. And then it's also funny, like that guy's back's against the wall at the end of the song. So he goes, girl, I know if my mother could do it. He's to say like, I too was the child of a single mother.
He did have it then?
He had it in his back pocket
I
and
didn't
he
even
had
know
to
that.
only use it at the end when he's on the ropes.
In a way that almost totally negates the point I just made.
No, it doesn't.
If
Separate.
he can relate to her struggle, then that's fair. But I didn't know about that last
He
part.
was raised by the single mother is what he's saying.
But who was a stripper or no?
I don't know. We don't know. But whatever. I'm assuming, I might be wrong, that song was completely made up. Therefore, it doesn't pack the same kind of punch.
Yeah, I would think so.
We got one more thing.
Oh, thank you, Ryan.
The Substitute came out in 96. Did you know it had 3 sequels?
Yes, and
No way.
but they were. That's how good it was. But they were starring Treat Williams and not Tom Berenger, and they're not as good.
Correct.
I've seen them.
There's a starring Treat Williams, and they all have little subtitles. So The Substitute 2, School's Out. The Substitute 3, Winner Takes All. And The Substitute 4, Failure is not an option.
Dude, it's like in fucking
Tropic Thunder?
Yeah.
when
The
they're
sequels.
yeah.
Dude. Awesome, man. All right, well, take us home,
I
Francis.
can't believe that fucking email actually worked out. that led to a even remotely compelling conversation.
Shout out to Anthony down in Florida.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Oh, well, guys, I will be at the Comedy Zone in Greenville and Charlotte? Greenville and Charlotte, North Carolina from September 29th to the 31st. I'm not even sure if that's the club for both places, but those are the cities I'll be in performing stand-up. I hope to see you guys there. Charlotte and Greenville, North Carolina, September 29th to the 31st. FrancisEllis.com for tickets.
Okay, so yeah, I'm at the stand on Thursday. Pretty sure that's very sold out at this point. It's going to be a lot of fun. I have another fun New York City show that I'm going to be announcing soon, though. If you guys weren't able to get tickets to this one, you'll be able to get those. Also in Charlotte on the 20th of October, Evening Muse. Tickets on my website in my bio.